Hi, I'm Joanne Dennison, and I'm here today to hopefully help you understand some of the things that are going on with Events Industry Council, EIC, and the CMP. There's been a lot of changes this year. You may or may not know that. Hopefully, I can give you some answers that I have collected information and I'm interpreting. But the first thing you need to know is I do not work for EIC. I do not work for the Events Industry Council. I also do not serve on any boards or committees, so please know I am not speaking for the EIC. That's really important that you understand that. I am speaking from someone who's been involved in this, preparing people for the CMP for 25 years, and having watched also a number of transitions of the exam. So hopefully this will help you. Hopefully maybe it will save EIC getting a few emails. Some of you know me from teaching my classes. Some of you know me from my YouTube videos. So here we go. So this is May 20th, 2025. And I say that because things seem to change so quickly. So let's start with the beginning of the year. Up until March 31st of 2025, the same basic exam had been given for many years. Okay, so that was the last day of the last exam, last question bank, et cetera, et cetera. So in April and May, they had what was called the beta period. So this is where people could choose to take the exam with certain conditions, and it is also a trial for the new exam. So you may have heard people saying April and May is the beta period. Beta means something is being tried. For example, on any of the exams for many years now, we always had 15 beta questions, and they were sample questions of ones that were hadn't been quite tested enough to be on the scored part of the exam, but were being tested by people taking the exam. And that's what this April-May beta period was also. People taking the new exam under beta circumstances, and that's going to be evaluated now to see how the exam is working for people. So in June and July, EIC is actually having a period of time where they are not even offering the exam. It's a blackout period, and during that time, they'll be evaluating what happened during the beta period and getting ready to ramp up to fully launch the new exam. And that will happen as of August 1st. So what does that mean? So please know this has happened a number of times. Like I said, I've been teaching 25 years. I've probably gone through at least 4 or 5 of these transitions. Someone called me in March and said, I want to take the exam before March 31st before it gets harder. I said, why do you think it's going to be harder? And she said, well, it's a new exam. So please release that idea. The exam has certain levels that it has operated under for many, many years. It just means there's shift in content. So it's not necessarily any harder than the last series of exams. It's just the focuses may be slightly different. So maybe that helps you a little bit. So the materials, that's been a big question. So they have been in the process of working on a new book for a while. It was actually supposed to come out during what became the pandemic, and they chose to put it on hold, understandably so, to see what everything looked like when we got to the other side. But they've been working really hard to get it done. They have run into glitches, as we all do sometimes when we launch projects. So right now, EIC is saying that the new book will not come out. The new EIC manual, Events Industry Council manual, will not come out till the end of 2025 or possibly the beginning of 2026. So what does that mean if we have a new exam? What are we doing? So first of all, let me talk about how the new exams are made. Is they survey and do research for the couple of years leading up to it to see what has changed in the meeting and event professionals' lives. And they rearrange the emphasis. Sometimes they add topics, sometimes they take them away, sometimes they move them under new domains. So if you're not familiar, there is something called the CMP-IS, which is CMP International Standards, and that is the framework. It used to be years ago called the blueprint of the exam. So now we break it into domains, and it tells you what topic areas are being covered in each of those domains. Now, what usually happens every time the exam changes is as they build the big structure, the domains, some may move out from one domain into another. There may be more questions or less questions on a particular area. It usually is not a significant difference of overall material. The reality is these are concepts, and the concepts really don't change. So they may get added to as things change, but they don't change. So therefore, the framework is usually the same, but shifted around, and maybe things are in different categories. So know that. And you can see online the CMP International Standards as of 2025. So no, it's not like they threw out everything that was in the last exam or in the last book and started from scratch. It just gets updated, added to, moved around, etc. Because of that, and this is not the first time this has happened, that the exam has had to launch without the materials that they had hoped to have be ready. But as of right now, they will still be using the EIC 9th edition, which many of you may already have, or you'll see it on the website for purchase. And that's okay, because I know a lot of people have been saying, I don't know if I should buy the book. What if the new one comes out before I take the exam, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it will not hurt you at all, especially if you're planning on taking the exam in, August, September, October. That would be the book you would be studying from. And for those of you who've already started studying, yay. Same thing with the glossary. There will be some supplemental materials which they will make available to you. And I believe there won't be a charge. I believe they're going to be giving links. I could be wrong on that. Just keep tuned. I'm hoping to do a series of these. I will do a series of these if it's necessary. So hopefully that helps you some on knowing how the old structure affects the new structure. Is the new structure going to be that much worse? No. What books to use, etc. One thing I will say is, and I say this all the time, please don't apply until you really have a good idea of when you'll be sitting for the exam. So, if you're taking a class this summer, I would wait till you get to the other end of the class so you actually know what you're going to have to do additionally to prepare, and then look at your schedule. The reason being is the day you are accepted to sit for the CMP, you have 365 days to pass it. And you may think, oh yeah, that's not an issue, except life gets in the way. Personally, professionally, it may take you longer to do things than you planned. So one of my big pieces of advice would be, don't apply for the exam yet. Wait till we start moving into, June, July, August, and you have a better idea of what's going to happen. So that's the update on CMP as of May 20th, 2025, from information I've gathered from credible sources. A lot of it came directly from EIC. And I hope that helps you in some way.